Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and this little ficus tree that I've shown before that has gone through quite some rough patch, I must say. In a previous video I have showed how I actually worked on it to make it rebound again because it has over winter lost a lot of its foliage. However, the last couple of weeks and months there has been a lot of new growth developing, starting here from lower parts, but now also the top slowly and steadily starting to fill in again. Especially here, for example, from this side we can see lots of new growth and it's starting to look healthy again, or healthier at least. And this is one of the reasons that I want to actually move on with the project that I've planned for this tree, which is to fuse those trunks together, because as you probably can see, it is actually not one tree, it's a bunch of trees actually put together in here that have been bound here. I also fixated it here a bit more again already before winter. And now actually I want to wrap it to really make sure that in next growth season it cannot expand outside basically, and it starts to fuse the trunks together to create already a more mature looking tree. And in the future, of course, then also repot it into a bonsai pot, because right now it's simply in its little plastic pot still. So before we actually start with that, I'll need to do some maintenance pruning, I would say. So just some of these lower hanging branches, I think we need to get out of the way. This one here, for example, or also this one here that is simply growing from a smaller growth point down here that later on will be covered by tape. So let me just clean it up a little bit, but I wouldn't do too much because I'm quite happy there is so much new growth developing, so I don't already want to get rid of everything again. And of course, later on when this starts to harden, then we can always still wire it in a different direction. But right now I just want to clean it up a little bit. Maybe this one here, for example, just shorten it a little bit so it's nothing in the way that can be somehow limiting our then trunk fusion experiment that is the plan for it. So the first thing I would do is actually take off this lower wire here that I've put on, as I said, last fall. So let me get this out of the way. It already fixated this lower part of the branches together, and they are no longer as bulbous as they were before. There was a lot of space in between those here that now has already filled in quite nicely. And I think we can already also start to open it up from up here. And here it is definitely more loose still, so it definitely is spreading apart right away when I take out this wire here. So we could also separate them now. Of course, that is not the goal we have for today, so we actually go in a different direction. I'm gonna use some tape, and I'm gonna really tape all this lower part of the trunk as good as possible and as tight as possible, to really make sure that hopefully within a year or two we will have all those trunks here fusing together and creating a nice and interesting looking tree. So what I'm actually gonna do is not apply the wire with the tape with the sticky side inside, because I really do fear that as it is quite a strong tape, it could take off the bark. These are all still very young and immature trees, so I don't want to damage them with the tape. And then when I take it off, basically risk the health of the tree. So I'd rather actually do it with the sticky side outside and still try to apply as much pressure as possible. And this way have still the same outcome, just without the risk of actually damaging the bark on the tree in the future. So let me get some of the tape ready, and the first one around is definitely the most difficult, but I'm trying to go as low as possible here and as tight as possible. And the first time we're actually connecting again with the tape, we should get some nice pressure on it. So that's already starting as sticky as I expected it to be, but in the end, let me see if we might break this off and start new with a fresh part of tape. But as I said, it is very sticky, so it's definitely the right decision to do it this way. So just one connecting here. The first one doesn't have to be too tight already, because we can of course then go around multiple times where we increase the amount of pressure we actually put on it and how tight we're actually gonna make it. This is definitely a fight, as it is so sticky, but it is worth not risking any damage to the tree, I would say. So make sure we don't get the foliage in. That's one of the reasons actually we pruned it back. So maybe let me cut this at this point and then apply it more freely. So I'm just preparing some more tape here, roughly this length here, trying to cut through it, which in itself is already a bit of a challenge. But there we go. And that should at least make it easier to nicely and strongly wrap it around the tree here. So this already links a good part of it. My question right now is maybe I even go a bit higher still here. Yes, I will definitely go a bit higher still, maybe just like a finger or two more up, giving us still a better idea for the fusion. So again, preparing some tape. Yeah, normally I'm used to actually applying wire, of course, not tape, so it's definitely different to the normal work you do in trees. But nevertheless interesting. So just a little piece of tape still that I will try to wrap on this upper part here, also of course as tight as possible. And there we go. So that actually is quite tight, even when I try to see if there's much space in between here. I definitely feel the trees wide away. So I feel like this should hold for a couple of months, maybe even longer than that. It should definitely have the desired result. I will keep you updated on that, especially also the health of the tree, how is it going, and I will take off the tape probably in, I would say, a year or so and see how it is doing. I will keep you updated on that. If you have experiences with trunk fusion through this tape idea that I had right here, please leave them in the comments. I'm very interested to see how you did that and how your results were. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, and if you enjoyed this channel, of course, feel free to subscribe to it. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video then. Until then, goodbye.